2.5 years ago, I convinced my boyfriend of 6 months to move across the country with me. He quit his job, we packed up everything we owned into a U-Haul, loaded up our 2 dogs, all because I said, I think I want to live in New York. So let's get a little deeper into it. Like, how did I actually end up here? I'm not gonna say that living in New York was like a lifelong dream of mine, but of course, all the shows, all the movies that you see, you're like, I want to live in New York City. And yes, I am one of those people who grew up watching Sex and the City, so New York City was glorified for me. And I know everyone's gonna say, oh my God, the transplant, she moved here because she wanted that life in New York City. Girl, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be young, hot, and sexy in their 30s going out with their friends? Until you actually kind of get close to 30 and you're like, wait, I don't like drinking, I actually don't really like going out, and I don't like being around people that much. I visited New York, I think for the first time back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't even go out to like any crazy parties or anything like that, but it was just the vibe of the city where I was like, I have to move here. But how can I afford to move to New York City? I feel like that's the question that everyone asks them. Everyone wants to live in New York City at some point in their life. At least most people. I don't know how many times I've talked about this, but if you don't know, me and my man, my now fiance, we met on Hinge initially. We were dating for 6 months and I brought up the idea to him that I wanted to move to New York City. His grandma at the time actually lived in Jersey, so it did give him some incentive for wanting to move over there, but there wasn't like a real want. And my man, he is really such like an easygoing guy. He really just started looking at jobs in New York and we didn't plan for it to happen anytime soon. He started actively looking at jobs in New York City, what he could potentially work with, what would be good for him, and he ended up getting a job offer. And you're never gonna guess where we ended up either. We were living in the Bronx. People are like, oh, you live in the Upper West Side, you live in the Upper East Side. No, we flew to New York City to kind of get a feel for areas. I had a few listings planned out for us, but again, like, I've only been to New York City twice before this, and all the different boroughs and all the little inside the boroughs, it was just confusing me. We visited one apartment in Jersey. It wasn't for us. I was like, I'm not liking this area. It seems a little too old. We went to the Bronx and we loved the building. It was one of like the new builds in the area. And I know we were part of the gentrification. I'm sorry. So yeah, when we toured the place, we just really liked the building. We also came across so many people while on our tour that also said they loved the building. Come to find out a few years later, we didn't like it. There was so many problems with management, so on. And we also didn't look around the area, like giving ditzy. We only explored the amenities and inside the building. We didn't even take a spin around the block to see if there were areas we could take our dogs, places to eat, cafes, because like that's part of New York City. But realistically, I don't have the money to afford living in those areas. There's Upper East Side, Upper West Side, Soho, Meatpacking District. I cannot afford to pay $10,000 a month, if not more for that. So fast forward to when we got here. We arrived November 2023. I have never experienced seasonal depression in my entire life. The Bay Area, California period, we don't really have seasons. We have warm weather or cloudy and then it gets warm later. I think the coldest it's ever gotten in the Bay Area that I can remember was like high 30s. We moved to the city with knowing nobody, no friends, no family. While there are so many people in this city, it can feel so lonely because there are so many people and they're all just doing their own thing. I kid you not, when I first moved here, I was sliding in girls' DMs. I was like, I just moved here, do you wanna be friends? Oh my God, you look so pretty, do you wanna be friends? I was getting left on red, ghosted, or like I ended up going on a friend date and then like they started acting weird. I was like, bitch, why are you acting like that? I had to kill that idea because I was like, it's not working out in my favor, or maybe I'm just choosing poorly. Why is it that making adult friendships is so hard and weird at this big age? So when we first moved here, it was definitely an acclimation period. It took a long time, if not still, for us to get adjusted. And we've been here 2.5 years now. I get the question all the time, what is the difference between the Bay Area and New York City? Babes, it is a night and day difference. And I don't even know if I can even explain it to you. You have to experience it firsthand. There are so many things to love about New York, and my favorite one being is the walkability of it. Like, you can truly walk from the Bronx to Soho Yes, it will take a lot of time, but it is doable. And in the process, you can visit so many little places and come across so many different things. Living here, there is never a dull moment. Whether it's you being on the subway, driving, walking around, you're gonna hear somebody yelling, you're gonna see something happening on the street, maybe even a fight. Like, it's always something going on. In the Bay Area though, you need a car for the most part. Like, you could walk from Oakland to San Francisco, but that's a push. If you live in damn near any part of California, you need a car, point blank period. Another one of my favorite things about New York City is the food. Are you kidding me? You can go to every single borough and find a different cuisine. You go to Jackson Heights, you can get like almost every single country within the span of a block. I'm talking Nepalese, Indian, Colombian, Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever it is, babes, it's there. And we don't have that in the Bay Area. Don't get me wrong though, because the Bay Area is so diverse, but New York and the Bay Area are culturally diverse in completely different ways. And each borough has its own characteristics too. Like Manhattan kind of gives me like very bougie vibes. Brooklyn reminds me a lot of Berkeley. I don't know if anyone here is from Berkeley, been to Berkeley. I actually graduated from UC Berkeley, but Brooklyn gives me very Berkeley vibes. Kind of hippie, a lot slower. People are just on their own kind of way, doing whatever. Manhattan people, I feel like they care a little bit more about what people think. Again, before anyone gets their panties in a bunch, this is just my opinion and what I have observed. Thank you. I'm willing to try every and anything. Even if it doesn't look appealing, I'm always gonna try it at least one time. And living here, I feel like you really need to be open to that. I am half Chinese, quarter Puerto Rican, quarter white. Growing up in the Bay Area, I never thought anything of it because growing up there are so many mixed people. You can find people who are Black and Mexican, Black and Samoan, Chinese and Black, like whatever it is, like there's always a mix of people. Versus in New York, what I have found, for example, we were touring apartments in Fort George area. On one block, it was all Jewish people. Also, we don't really have like a lot of Jewish people in the Bay Area, or like we do, but they don't have their own little hoods. So you go down one block, it's all Dominicans and they're not mixing with each other. Versus in the Bay Area, you can have Black, Mexican, white, Asian, any type of race, all right there on the same block. Unless, you know, you're in like the more affluent areas, it's gonna be, you know. The Bay Area is just a melting pot, and I love that. I love that I was able to grow up in a place where I could experience that. And out here, when I tell people that I'm half Chinese, quarter Puerto Rican, quarter white, they're like, how the hell did that happen? Every single time. They're like, what? They look at me crazy. And I know people are gonna say, oh my God, we see Chinese, Puerto Rican people everywhere. No, you don't. I'm Chinese and Puerto Rican. I have only met a few of them in my life, and most of them on the internet. Like, I'll have the girls reach out to me like, oh my God, I'm Chinese and Puerto Rican too. Like maybe 4 girls, like, and I've never been asked my ethnicity more than living in New York. Every single time I go outside. You know what? Actually, I had someone ask me a crazy question the other day. They're like, what country are you from? Oh, I said, I'm from the US. They're like, no, but like, where are you from? The United States. They're like, but what are you? The what are you question? Please don't take me off. And I guess apparently I have an accent. And I never really realized that until maybe I lived here and I heard New York people talk and I was like, wait, I actually don't like your accent. Everyone in their 20s wants to live in New York City because it is glorified, because it's literally New York City. But don't get me wrong, all this to say, it is not easy living here. Living in New York can feel exhausting. There is always something going on, whether it be a party, a function, an event. It sometimes feels like you're missing out if you don't want to be a part of that. And as someone who gave up alcohol last year, like, I rarely go to bars. I have no interest really in being around cocktails or alcohol. I have no interest in buying a $20 mocktail, because why is a mocktail with seltzer water and juice $20? Like, there's always something going on to the point it makes you feel like you're just not doing enough, even when you are. All of this is from my context, my perspective, and I know people love to take whatever people say on the internet and turn it into themselves and blah, blah, blah. This is my experience. I'm not saying that you're gonna have this, but this is just what I have noticed. And I also feel like I am the type of person who's really good at seeing both sides. And I'm not saying that I don't like doing things just because I don't like drinking anymore. My interests are just different. I prefer doing a lot of activities, whether that be like a Spartan race, a 5K, or like interactive date nights where we do like ceramics, ice skating, roller skating. Like those are kind of my areas of what I've realized, like the older I get, what I enjoy more of. And I miss living in the Bay. Like I miss driving, I miss peace. I miss waking up and not smelling cigarettes. I miss like being able to walk around and smiling at someone without them looking at me funny, because I'm just a very happy person. I think I had lived in New York for like 2 or 3 months, December, January, freezing cold, but I'm walking around with a big smile on my face because I'm a happy person. And I remember posting about it on social media. They were like, just wait, you're gonna live here long enough, that smile's gonna be gone. I was like, why are you so unhappy? I was like, that's never gonna happen to me. And look, almost 3 years later, babes, I'm still smiling, bright as ever, pearly whites. It was really, really hard for me to come to terms with the fact that I had no family here and just like going through that depression of like, wow, I can't just go to my mom's house. Wow, I can't just go and see my little brother. It is so hard to leave every single thing that you know behind and like the comfort of everything, right? I truly believe if I didn't move to New York, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. I have changed, I have grown, I have turned into a woman who like I am truly happy to be now. Now, do I see myself staying in New York City permanently? Probably not, because I do want a house and like, yeah, I could move to Westchester County or I could move to Jersey or whatever, Connecticut. But my man doesn't want to have to shovel snow in every single winter. Like, and I also think that once I move, I'm going to have real FOMO. So I am trying to embrace it as much as I can right now. But I also don't know where I would want to end up because we're coming up on our 3 years. I don't think that we could see ourselves staying here any longer than 5 years. Affordability, babes, it's not affordable. I don't know how people do it. Like, I wish I need to be working like 5 different jobs. Meanwhile, I'm unemployed. All of this to say, like, I am so thankful for the opportunity to live here, the time that I have spent. It also just makes me realize how much more I love where I'm from. And I mean, if you're looking for a reason to move across the country just because, let it be this one.